And we are live on a Saturday morning. That over there is former Heisman Trophy winner Derrick Henry.
And that is former should have been Heisman Trophy winner, of course, Dak Prescott.
All right. This is Super Squad D, where the D stands for don't jump into this discussion unless you're ready for some Iron Fist Season 2 spoilers.
That's right.
We
are topping off this hour of the Saturday showground.
That's it.
Some Iron Fist. And later we're going to talk about DC's Titans. We're going to talk about Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Here's a quick question for you. Do we have to talk about DC's Titans?
I'm afraid that we do.
Okay.
It's tragic, but I believe we do.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Shout out to anyone joining us on this Saturday morning. Another shout out to anyone who is watching later on the rerun or something. Another shout out to my hair. I should have done something with it before I jumped in here. It is flying into my face.
And a final shout out to those watching this on demand on PlayStation.
Hey, here's a quick question, Tyler. And this is an important one.
Yes.
It's been a long time since we gave away a little in-stock trades $10 gift card. Should we do that in this episode?
I mean, we can.
I think we should. I think we should come up with something that we will announce at the end of the episode of a way that people can enter in, like in the comments on this video, to win a little, just a little $10 in stock trades. How's that sound?
I feel like that's the best possible idea for this beautiful Saturday morning, sunny and 83, everywhere in the country.
Everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are.
Doesn't matter where you're at.
Beautiful. I'm going to do the Spider-Man finger guns.
Feels good.
Feels good. What's up, Scott? Good to have you in the live chat. Anyone else jumping in? Say hello. Let us know what you're up to. We are, of course, discussing Iron Fist Season 2. And this is gonna have a lot of spoilers in it because we want to get in depth. We want to really discuss and break down some of the stuff that we liked, that we didn't like, I guess, and just what we thought of the season as a whole. So I guess first things first, Tyler.
Yes.
What did you think of the season as a whole?
I flippin' loved it. I loved it. I think it's my favorite Marvel Netflix season behind Daredevil 1 and 2.
Ooh, so this is ranked number 3rd then.
This would be my third favorite season, but now probably my second favorite show.
Okay, number 3rd is what I just decided to say. That sounds good. Wow, that's high praise. That's some high praise right there. What give me something that validates your claim as to why it's ranked so high for you.
Well, right off the bat, good morning, Travis. Thanks for jumping in, man.
We'll miss you, Travis.
Saturday.
We're gonna miss you, Travis.
Right off the bat, you can tell there's a new showrunner involved in Iron Fist. And I think it's no coincidence that the show turned out as good as it did, because that showrunner, of course, famous for the fact that he wrote the beautiful and near perfect screenplay of Elektra, the movie. So
I was hoping that's not what you would start the discussion off with.
Came in like the show before it even hit production, you knew it was going to be solid this year. But it did blow me away. I thought that the acting was, I thought the acting was better, but I think that's just a function of the writing, because the writing was notably better.
Yes, that is. I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was something that once I was worried after Iron Fist Season 1, as everyone really was, about the direction of that character, because that one was that the last one to drop out of the 4 Defenders?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. And so I was a little bit worried about it, and then Defenders comes out, and I'm looking here at Defenders, and I know there's a lot of people that have issues with it, and that's fine. I enjoyed Defenders as a whole, and one of the reasons I enjoyed it is because I was looking at Danny Rand and Defenders, and I was like, this character seems to make more sense right here than he did in his own show.
Right.
And then Luke Cage Season 2 comes around. He shows up in one episode and is great in that episode, and I was like,
probably the best episode in that whole series.
One of. I think there was one towards the end that it might have it was very stylistically done, and it might have been my favorite. But and then I was like, well, maybe, just maybe, it wasn't actually like Finn Jones's fault. Maybe the writing in season 1 was just that bad.
And it was.
Yeah, as it turns out.
It was bad. So the writing was much better in this season. And I felt like they just had a much better grasp on the characters to actually make them likable. We talked about it before the show, but probably my favorite character in the season, well, the most likable character in the season for me, not my favorite, but my second favorite, most likable, is Ward.
Yeah, Grant Ward.
And Grant Ward, that doesn't feel right. That feels like a different character, but okay, we'll go with it. No, Ward is a jerk, complete jerk, but he's written really well in a way where you both empathize with him, root for him, and you're there for his character growth, which makes you attached to the character. And by the end of the season, like the last scene he's in the show was just like the Ward that I just always knew he could be. I knew it.
It was like a Darth Vader sort of situation. Spoiler alert ahead if you're unaware with Star Wars, a 40-year-old movie franchise. But it's like, yes, there was still good in him.
What?
Absolutely, fully agreed. And something that I thought was a very, very interesting when we were discussing it, right after I had finished watching, I called you up and I was like, bruh, I just finished it. We got to talk about it. And one of the most interesting aspects of the writing, I thought, was following the storyline of Ward in recovery and dealing with addiction. Then Danny mentioning that he didn't really understand, like he wasn't respecting the power of the Iron Fist. He was just addicted to using the Iron Fist. Joy having this like addiction to like the idea of revenge. There was a lot of just addiction and recovery storylines in this season, which I thought was a very interesting metaphor as a whole for where they were trying to go.
A strong motif that I did not see coming with Danny until it happened and thought, wow, this is a great parallel. And it really allowed organically the characters of Ward and Danny to bond in a way they had not before.
Yeah, which was really, really important because and one of the other big complaints about season 1 was that there didn't really seem to be any sort of real chemistry between a lot of the characters.
Right.
And so now you do have that, like Danny thinking that like Davos is like his brother, and then by the end of it, he and Ward really having a brother relationship.
Yeah. Let's talk about Joy.
Yeah.
Let's
like the concept
of the idea of joy and how here's a 3-step simple 40-day plan to being the best you.
But we can't give it all away to you because we have to force you to give us money.
We can only tell you the first one, but for 3 installments of $19.99, you can be as joyful as you can be. Joy, the character Joy. So what did you think about Joy?
Joy, sorry, I still got some morning throat going on, it seems. Joy was a weird character and coming into season 2 because, and another friend of mine, Keith Harkins, texted me and was just like, yeah, I'm starting season 2 of Iron Fist. I kind of forgot that one chick randomly turned evil at the end of season 1. And that's a good way of wording it because it really was the most random turn. Like Joy went from like wanting to believe Danny in season 1, really, and Ward was the one who doubted him, to suddenly she's like, you guys lied to me about all this stuff, so now I'm going to plot to like kill you, basically.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have a lot to work with Joy Meacham going into it. And that's why I think a lot of this season was repairing season 1 so that they can move forward with where they really want to go. So, and one of those main things was making sense of the character of Joy, which I want to hear your opinion now. Do you think that they did that?
I do think they did that. I think that the showrunner, the new showrunner and the new writing crew came in and they said, okay, where were we? What was the state of every character at season 1, the end of season 1? Whether or not we agree with it, we're just going to go with it. And I think that's what I don't think this writing crew would have made that drastic turn in the last 45 minutes of the show for Joy to suddenly turn bad in season 1.
Right. Yeah.
But I think they were like, okay, it's been done. This is just the state of things. It would be more of a mess to undo that. So we're just going to go with it and develop her character. And so in that context, I was able to accept it. I still felt like it was not this season's fault, but again, them making her bad was just didn't make any sense. But in the context of, all right, she is bad. How can we write her in such a way? I thought this was probably the best way they could do it because they explained by the end of the season. Don't know how many times I have to say spoilers, but they explained by the end of the season that the real reason she punished Danny, because Ward even says straight up to her at one point, why would you do this to Danny? Like, I understand why you'd want to do this to me. I lied to you for years. Right. Even though I did it to protect you, like, I understand why you'd be hurt, but why Danny? He did nothing. And she basically said, it's because Danny was the only person. I was so angry that Danny was the only person I could hate and take it out on because I wasn't as close to him as I am to you. And I could never really hurt you.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of a cop-out, but at the same time, it gave a little deeper motivation and understanding to why she did stuff to Danny and not Ward. I was fine with it. Ultimately, I felt like her character, obviously, by the end, came back around. She will be an interesting character in season 3 as a somewhat morally gray. She's willing to cross lines, but she's not willing to go too far, but she's also not good. You know, it'll be an interesting morally gray character, I think, for season 3.
Yeah, it seemed like I fully agree. They didn't have much to work with her. And so it was the trickiest storyline to work around. And that's why it probably was the weakest out of all the supporting characters to work around in season 2. But moving forward, they're definitely going to set her up to be a little bit less cut and dry type of character. It'll be very interesting to see. Very, very interesting to see in general. Along those lines, there were moments in which I thought that we were going to see Ward get killed off, because the way they were building his character up, I was like, it kind of seems like they're resolving some stuff, which makes me think that they're going to kill him off. And then, of course, there's a moment in which they honestly do almost kill Joy off. And I was kind of surprised that they didn't. Did you think that they were going to kill off one of the Meachums at some point in the season?
You know, honestly, I really didn't give it much thought. Normally, I do think about those types of things, but for some reason, this show, I was just so enthralled with watching it that I didn't think about it once. But you're right. In hindsight, Ward had too much character resolution. If I'd paid a little more attention, I would have been like, no, he's making right on too many things.
He ain't making it out of this.
He ain't making it out. That's like the number one rule of TV is if a character has full character resolution, they're going to die.
Yeah,
unexpectedly. Like, even if there's no threat to their life, they will unexpectedly die somewhere.
The other one is if anyone ever says, I got a girl waiting for me back home.
Yeah.
Gonna, you know,
anytime they make promises, any direct promises, you know, that will never happen.
Yeah. There's basically 3. It's like if a character has too much resolution, if a guy has a girl waiting for him back home, or if it's a key witness that has, you know, really important evidence in a case, you can bet they're going to die.
Gone. Yep. So let's talk about my favorite character from the season. The sensational.
The NA sponsor.
Whose
name I've not forgotten. That's how important she was.
Good. My favorite character, the sensational Alice Eve as Mary Walker.
She was phenomenal.
Were you surprised by her acting chops?
You know, a little bit. I would like to say that I've always liked Alice Eve. Honestly, I've probably just always thought she was attractive. I don't know. But you know, she hasn't been in a whole lot when it comes to, I guess, American stuff. She is a British actress, as are, I mean, everyone in a Marvel Netflix show is a British actress.
Finn Jones
is a British actress. Jessica Henwick's a British actress. You know, Daredevil's a British actress. Yeah. You know, all of that. Anyway, David Tennant's a British actress. So all that being said, so like I'd seen her in stuff. She of course was in Star Trek. She was in, but her like most notable movie she's most known for is She's Out of My League. You know, kind of this bro comedy with Jay Baruchel, who I can't really watch because I can't listen to Jay Baruchel.
I can't stand. I am so glad he's fallen out of favor in Hollywood because
exactly.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. So anyway, so she, relative, like I know who she is. I'm like, okay, that's great, And so she shows up in the show. I don't recognize her, first of all, because she's got like red hair.
I didn't recognize her either.
Yeah. And then I was like, she looks familiar. Oh, wait a second. I know who that is. So blew me away with her ability to play that character. And what really blew me away was the moment when they have, I forget what episode it was, but the moment that they have like sedated Davos and they're trying to capture him, and Davos like breaks Dany's knee, and then she carries Dany outside, and she's Walker at that point, and then the rain starts falling, and she starts walking out into the rain, and you can actually like basically see the transformation from one personality to another as she shifts into the character of Mary. And then she speaks differently. Her facial expressions are different. Like, it was amazing how like in one scene she became an entirely different character. Really impressed with that. Really impressed. It was one of the better individual acting performances in a Marvel Netflix show.
Yeah, I loved her character, and I loved that at the end they very strongly hinted at Bloody Mary or Typhoid Mary. I'm assuming she's going to be called Bloody Mary just because of the references to all the blood that was left when she escaped from the prison.
Also, because there's not a whole lot of people alive right now that would understand Typhoid Mary as a reference. It's kind of true. We're not on the Oregon Trail anymore.
That's true. But I look forward to seeing if they make her a mutant. Well, she's a mutant in the comics. If they give her powers, or if they just say like it's a next level rage blackout psychopathic, fight or flight type personality where she just like kills everybody.
Yeah, be very interesting. Here's a question for you. I'm sorry to kind of change just a bit, but what do you think are the best individual performances so far? Like, where would you rank them in the Marvel Netflix shows? Across all the shows.
I would rank number 1 David Tennant as the Purple Man.
I was going to go with Diamondback. So.
Yeah, he's so good. He's up there on my list. Don't worry, bro.
I couldn't even get through that joke without just feeling disgust in myself.
So I would rank David Tennant at the top. Then I would probably rank Matt Cox as Daredevil. Then I would rank Alice Eve. And then I would rank the actor who plays Luke Cage, probably, because he actually plays a very good Luke Cage, though the writing was not what I wish it had been. He really embodies that character very well.
Yeah, I might put Vince D'Onofrio as
I forgot about it. Totally forgot about him.
I might put him.
For me, he slots in at number 2.
Yeah, I think he's number 2 for me behind David Tennant. But honestly, I really like his portrayal of that character, and he would be pushing number 1.
Yeah,
if David Tennant wasn't as freaking awesome, as Kilgrave as he. Scott knows. M. Scotter knows who real Typhoid Mary is, which just goes to prove that M. Scotter is actually 97 years old.
Oh, yeah. I thought he might be. He must be on the Oregon Trail
right now. Hey, watch out that your wagon's wheels don't all break or whatever.
That's it. Be careful. I played a character once on the Oregon Trail, the movie.
Cholera got you.
It's dysentery. Died of dysentery in first 30 seconds of the film.
Okay. My co-host, Radar O'Reilly, the 3-month-old puppy, is wandering somewhere in this room, and I seem to have lost her. That's why I'm...
Yikes. Okay, so let's talk about that ending.
Yes.
The ending that has everybody dying for more. I thought it was phenomenal. I could not believe, and again, for the final time, spoiler alert, I could not believe they actually gave Colleen the Iron Fist power.
Right?
I was shocked. I was just like, they're teasing us. They're not going to do it. There's no way they're going to do it. Like, this is too much of a status quo shift, too much of a game changer. There's just no chance they're actually going to go through with this. They don't have the guts to do it. And they did.
But they did. They absolutely did.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, never would have expected that. We had talked a lot about how much we wanted Iron Fist, the series, to be influenced by the great Brubaker Immortal Iron Fist run in the comics. And we could see elements of that leading towards it. But then they throw this curveball in there, which is just completely unheard of, is not a comic book anything. I mean, it just, wow, what a move.
Yeah.
Bold move.
What a bold move. And then, the very end with the glowing hands and the guns and Indiana Jones Ward. I mean, I would watch literally an entire season of just Ward and Danny's adventures in Asia. Like, hands down, no question.
If they're smart, they'll put out a little 6-episode mini spin-off series.
That would be so great, dude. That would be so great.
And that's some of the comic book influence we're talking about. The existence of previous Iron Fists, the Pirate Queen that apparently Colleen is a descendant of. And of course, I'm now forgetting the character's name that had the pistols.
Orson Randall.
Thank you.
They discuss quite a bit at the end of the season.
Yes.
I feel like they're going to bring Orson Randall in as a bad guy to begin with, but ultimately a good guy in the end. I kind of feel like that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. It's inspired me to go back and reread that run.
Yeah, I kind of want to do the same thing.
Is up on Marvel Unlimited, I would assume still.
Oh, yeah.
Do they take stuff down off of Marvel Unlimited?
Once it's there, it's there.
I figured as much. So it makes me want to go back and watch it again.
So overall, 1 to 10, how much did you like Iron Fist Season 2? Where does it fall on the rating scale?
Man, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Not a huge amount of flaws. You know, Iron Fist Season 1, to its credit, was a very consistent season.
Yeah.
It was neither very good and neither very bad, you know.
Mostly dull is how I would describe it. Just kind of dull.
Yep, that is a great way of wording it. And this was consistently good. Yeah. It just was. Like, there's a few things, like, you know, the whole searching for the origin of the little box that Colleen found.
Yeah.
That was, you know, searching for that. It was kind of like thrown by the wayside a little bit and then brought back at the very end. And it was kind of a weak plot point. I believe we had someone in one of our Facebook groups that we discussed these things and pointed that out. And it kind of was, but I mean, it serves a bigger purpose. But it was a kind of weak way of getting around to revealing Colleen's like ancestry, you know?
Agreed.
And along with, but aside from that, I mean, there's not a whole lot of stuff about it I would openly complain about.
Yeah. For me, I would give it also a solid 9 out of 10. I thought them bringing in Misty Knight as the connector was a brilliant move. I thought she worked way better than Claire. And I honestly would have no problem if Misty left Luke Cage and just joined Iron Fist, or if they gave her a spinoff with Colleen. She was fantastic, and I felt like the inclusion of Typhoid Mary was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I really loved almost everything about it. I mean, I know that I did have some complaints while I was watching it. I can't think of any major one. That's a good point about the little lockbox and a few other things, but overall, it was very good. Very much enjoyed it. 9 out of 10. I am more excited about an Iron Fist Season 3 than any other Marvel Netflix show outside of Daredevil Season 3.
Yes, which cannot come soon enough.
And it will be here in about 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. But it can't be here any sooner.
I know. Why? Okay, so real quick before we bounce off, I want to get your initial impressions on DC's Titans. The picture that came out. I want to hear what you have to say.
I want to say that whoever it is that is creating that show, whoever the showrunner is doing the entire cast a major disservice with the design of that show, just based off of the look of it. They are, and this is my quick impression on it. The character designs they aren't doing anything for me. And there's a lot of the tone that looks like they're trying to emulate, I don't know, Riverdale or something, like one of the current like teen dramas. And I just don't see how a teen drama show is going to survive on its own subscription service. You know, like is that going to actually draw people in to subscribe type thing? And I mean, I'm probably going to make Scott mad because Scott is a big DC fan. But Scott also doesn't really normally get mad about this stuff either. So, but it just was one of those things where I looked at it and I was like, that doesn't entice me to sign up to watch at all. But I don't know. I mean, I don't seem to be the target audience either. So yeah. It just looking rough to me.
I was not a big fan of the look of the show as well. Robin looked the best. Beast Boy looked okay. Raven looked pretty good in the trailer, not as much in the still image. And poor Starfire. I just feel like they did not do that actress or character any favors with the costume design. And
they didn't. They didn't. And
I mean, she's a hard character to adapt. I will give them that. She's a difficult character to adapt into a live action format, but I feel like someone could have done a better job.
Yeah, and Scott says he's so mad right now.
So angry.
And I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to say incredibly dumb things about the actress that plays Starfire and blame her for a lot of stuff that's not her fault. And
certainly,
it's going to be stupid to have to sit through.
I feel bad for her.
Internet idiots, exactly. And I feel bad for her because you look at the design of the show and it just doesn't seem like they're doing her any favors with it.
Right.
You know, they honestly like dress the character like you would see like a prostitute in a TV show dress in that one still image. You know, I'm just like, that's not a flattering look. And you're doing the actress a major disservice by setting her up to be a target. You know, that's what upsets me is that she is probably going to catch so much more flack and already has so much more flack than she, you know, will deserve to catch. She could play the character perfectly.
Right.
But there's going to be that aesthetic to it.
What a shame.
For sure.
So, okay, moving on real quick because we're almost at our time limit. What do you feel about the Sabrina reboot on Netflix? It came out.
Yeah.
Excited? Are you not excited? What are you feeling on the Sabrina reboot?
First of all, the character of Sabrina, I do want to say Scott does have a good point here that he doesn't feel like that's how she's going to look, how Starfire is going to look for the entire season. He's hoping that that's just an early pictured thing, but we haven't seen anything else out of it, which is what's worrisome. You know, if that's all we've seen, that's what worries me. But we can hope they change something.
There's still hope.
There's still hope. Yeah. So Sabrina as a character doesn't hold any sort of emotional connection for me. I've never really read the comics. Didn't really even watch the Melissa Joan Hart show growing up.
They gasp.
I know. It just wasn't one of those that was in my was that a TGIF show?
Oh, it was a TGIF.
It wasn't in my
TGIF show.
And that's on me. That's a failure on my part.
It definitely is.
So the production quality looks good on it, but it's not something I'd be interested in. I don't think. Don't really care much for the character. Don't really care much for horror stuff, and don't necessarily care that much for Greg Berlanti Productions. I don't have anything against him. Actually, I just want to throw that.
But just also nothing for him.
Yeah, right. I have no strong feelings either way towards Greg Berlanti.
Oh, I, on the other hand, do like the character, though. I watch, probably a handful of episodes on TGIF. It's also not like, it would be like if they brought back Step by Step, I'd be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not overly excited about the prospect of bringing a Sabrina show back just because it's Sabrina.
Right.
I think there was a great possibility. I was hoping when they announced it was going to be a Buffy style show, more like action driven, less horror. But I hate horror shows, so I'm 100% out. Like when I saw the trailer, I was like, nope, I'm out. Too scary.
Yeah, for sure.
So they lost me for certain because of the horror aspect, which I know will pull a lot of people in. And it, like you said, it does look like it has very high production value. It's made on Netflix and looks like they put a lot of money into it.
Did not realize it was going to be a Netflix show either.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a CW production, and then maybe it was supposed to be, and then the Netflix picked it up.
I think originally they had talked about doing a backdoor pilot in Riverdale with Sabrina showing up at one point and then doing a CW series.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately when they pitched it, Netflix was the guys who wanted it most and picked it up.
Yeah.
Or maybe just wanted it all. I don't know.
Yeah. It seems like they're going much more American Horror Story style production. And I think that, and I'm never going to feel confident in pronouncing the actress's name, but Kiernan Shipka, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
But she's a phenomenal young actress, was great in the show Mad Men, of course, which really put her on the scene. And great in that, like, you also hated her character, which was kind of how she was written. She was a bratty child. Anyway, so I have full expectations that she's going to kill it in that show. But I won't know from personal experience whether or not she does.
Because I will not be viewing.
Exactly. But yeah, comment below if you're watching. Tell us what your opinions are on those two shows we just talked about, Titans and then Sabrina as well. And yeah, that's pretty much what we got, I think, as far as content.
And on the way out, I want you to hit us. Who's best team in college football?
Who's the best? Who's the best? I like that you're doing that. You know, who's the best team?
Who's the best team? Hit it.
Why not? It's college football Saturday. Guys. Whew. Hey, Tyler, here's what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
Whoever is interested in entering in to win a $10 IST gift card, no strings attached, just enter in. Comment below this video with their top 3 best individual acting performances in a Marvel Netflix show.
I like it.
And then a week from today, we'll draw a winner out of those who comment.
Done and done.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the show, Graham, here at no, that's not it. At Super Squad D.
What does the D stand for at the end of the show?
D stands for, did you miss it? Watch it again.
Well,
that's the weakest D I've ever given.
Yep. See you guys.
Oh my God.